Alright guys, so as you can see I got the cover off, and this one does have a capacitor. It is only electronically controlled, it's not a variable speed. So it does have a capacitor and very far back. We're going to go ahead and see if I can get that for you. Now guys, capacitors will be put in the worst places that you could possibly think of sometimes. Like this one. So, sometimes you will need to remove the blower motor housing or slide it out, whatever's easier for you, or if you can actually reach it without shocking yourself or getting your hand caught in the back position. So we always want to check the capacitor under load, and once you do that, discharge it, remove it, and check it. Again, make sure your readings are within a certain range, and once again I'll show you how that range is. Let me go ahead and pull out my handy dandy multimeter volt tool. Now, preference of tools, I don't mind as long as it works, guys. If we get to a house and you've got your tool and I've got mine, and we're reading, 3, 4, 5 volts off, there's a problem. We need to get our tools checked. Your tools, most important being in the bag. Fluke has always been number one in my eyes. A lot of people will have a difference of opinion in tools, but I do run around with field piece. I love field piece. I've rolled around with this thing for quite some time. I've never had a problem with field piece. I use them for everything. I think they're a great manufacturer, and the business of what we do. This is the SC440. As you can see it right there, it does everything I need in the field that I work in. I go from checking microfarads, which is exactly what we're going to be checking here today. I can check resistance, ohmage. I can go from amps to milliamps, volt amps, direct amps, from VC, DC. I can check hertz, temperature. I have my probes down here for temperature as well. I can switch this over. So pretty much this is one of the best meters. I've always kept this model. You'll find some other ones that got the removable head. They've got all kinds of other things that a little fancier, a little bigger, a little smaller. It all depends on what you do and what you want it to do. But this, for me, in my field, has always been perfect. So right now what I'm going to do is check it under load. So I do need to check amperage. So I'm going to get myself set up, and I'm going to check my amperage off. And I'm going to write that down somewhere. For the most part, I like to write it down either on the system, in the system, or somewhere near my system, so I know that I've always got it there, and I can come back to it any time. So we've got 0.89 amps. I'll put that on the blower housing here, 0.89 amps, and that is around the ground wire coming off the capacitor. And now I'm going to check voltage, which I'm going to go from one leg to the other leg, just to make sure, and the good thing is that I can reach this one without having to pull the blower motor housing out. I've got enough room. My voltage is at 230 volts. When you bring your hand back out, you're good. There is a formula. So when they're going to check it under load, there is a formula. That formula will be available on school.com, where I am giving courses out. So if you want to sign up, learn the formula, learn how to do this job, how to check all this stuff, I'd love to see you guys there. 7-day free trial. After that, it's only $5 a month. You keep up. I'll be posting videos 3 times a week to twice a week, 2 to 3 times a week. I apologize. I'm on there for the most part every day from now on. So if you guys want all of the information and all of my tricks, see you on school.com, SKOOL.com, school.com. Once again, sign up, 7-day free trial. If it's worth your time, hey, you never know. You might learn something new, make you some money on the side, learn how to fix your own home's issues, whatever it might be. I don't only do heating and cooling, we do plumbing, we do electric, we do all kinds of stuff. So guys, yeah, see you on school.com, and hopefully we can get there. We also do live videos there as well. So I've got my amperage, I've got my voltage. Now I'm gonna do my math. I will do my reading and make sure I've got proper reading. And then from there, I will turn it off. And whenever you go to remove any electrical components, even when you go to open up the system, it's always best practice, turn the power off. It's just one of those things, man, that don't play with it. You know, don't try to be Superman, superhero. It doesn't work out very well for the most part. I've proven that time and time again. Lights, very important. Lights. I normally have a headlamp. Unfortunately, I broke it. Lights are very important in doing what we do as well. Home repairing AC and heating and cooling is not very, what could I say, fun to do all the time, but it is for the most part, and it is very rewarding. So let's go ahead and get this capacitor out. And the best way to do that is by using a side angle driver, which I have right here, which I enjoy very much, and I highly recommend anybody and everybody to get it. And this is your angle driver. DeWalt makes them, Milwaukee makes them, a lot of people make them. I roll with DeWalt. A lot of people love Milwaukee. Milwaukee does tend to make more tools for the heating and cooling environment. So I've heard mixed reviews. I've just, my dad did this for a living. My grandfather did this for a living. And now I'm doing it for a living. And we all have our preferences. And DeWalt was just handed down to me. So I'll stick with the DeWalt family. All right, let's go ahead and get that capacitor loosened. So we've got that bracket loosened. I've always said if you know how to work your tools will work magically. And now I'm going to discharge the capacitor. When I say discharge the capacitor, we'll get into what they are a little bit. The best way to explain a capacitor is kind of sort of like a power bank. So even after you turn off the power, it's got some charge to it. So if you touch both poles or 3 poles or 2 poles, you will shock yourself and it will hurt. It is 240 volts. So I highly recommend you take this step anytime you're going to check a capacitor. Take a screwdriver, take your pliers, take some wrench, take whatever. And you want to touch both poles. I'll show you that here in a minute. So yeah, these things are, for the most part, always gross. Recommend gloves. I should have put on gloves, and I didn't. All right, guys. So every capacitor will tell you what it's supposed to read. 15 microfarads plus or minus 5%. And this is for 50 or 60 hertz, 370 volts. I've got 230. So we're within range. This is made with castor oil. They used to be made with petroleum jelly. It used to last a lot longer back in the old days. Anyways, different topic, other days. Tells you what it's protected up against. A capacitor is pretty much, like I said, the basic way to explain it is a power bank. What it does, it reserves a little bit of charge. So when the system turns on, you're not directly impacting the larger components and burning them out sooner. This takes the direct impact and evenly distributes the power to the larger components, causing for your larger components to last longer. Pretty much in a nutshell. So when I told you now what we're going to do is check it while not under load and then compare it. You take your probes, you put this on microfarad reading, which I have just done, and you take both your lines, hook it up, and you look at your reading. So we're reading 10.67. Okay, guys? So I'm going to take that 10.67 microfarad reading on a 15 microfarad capacitor. Now, it tells you 15 plus or minus 5%, which means that if you lose 5% of 15, then the manufacturer is requesting or recommending that you change it out. If it's above the reading of 15 microfarads by 5%, the manufacturer is requesting that you change it out. Is it still operating? Well, the system is still working. It still does operate. Unfortunately, this becomes one of those things that when it starts getting lower and lower and lower and lower, every time the system turns off and you want it to turn back on and it turns back on, when you goes to call to turn back on, you're pretty much rolling the dice. You're hoping for that lucky number 7. Let's go, baby. Turn back on, please. And that's what this does. Once these things go bad, they're no longer any good. They have zero capacitance, zero reading. That larger component it's protecting will no longer turn on, and which in my case would be the blower motor. Now, at this point, if you take the 15, multiply it times 5%, which if we do real quick, I believe it's a little over 2.5 or something like that. I'm not going to do the math right now because if not, I'd end my video. So this, in other words, this is considered a bad capacitor, is what I'm trying to get at. And it does need to be replaced. What I'm going to go ahead and go do is go down to my vendors, pick one up, and come back home, wire it in, and get it all up and running, and make sure that I'm properly operating. What does a bad capacitor do? Well, once again, it'll keep your system from turning back on once it does completely drain itself of capacitance. And then second of all, causes for your larger components to run at a higher heat rate, overburn themselves, causes for the component to burn itself out, and that's why this is put in place. Once again, if you want to learn how these things do properly work, how they fully operate, and what it is they truly do, see the inside of one of these things. I will be on school.com, SKOOL, school.com, 7-day trial. Sign up. We like to break things open like this. I'm a very hands-on learning guy. Never been really good learning out of a book. So if you guys are the same, this is a place for you. Once again, it's just going to be a page where we do basic things, nothing massive. We're not switching out any systems yet, but basic plumbing, basic heating and cooling, clean the drain, change capacitors, check the filters. Once again, guys, thank you for joining me. I'm going to go ahead and put this thing back, get everything built back up, and we'll see you on school.com. We'll drop a new one, and once again, 2 to 3 times a week, we'll be setting out videos. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to post it in the comments. I'll drop a link below in the description for the school, and as well for our Facebook page. Please leave any comments, any suggestions, any remarks. Everything is greatly accepted here. There is no such thing as a dumb question or a dumb remark. We're all wanting to learn. We're all wanting to further our education. Once again, thank you for joining me. Right Way Repairs. We'll see you on the next one.